Lior. Hello, everyone again. I'm Ali Bidabadi. I'm Director of Cloud Architecture here at Fortinet. I would like to spend a few minutes covering some of major design patterns and deployment scenarios that we have seen our customers adopting in the cloud and what we have basically experienced working with our customers. And we develop those reference architectures based on our customer input, also in conjunction with our cloud service provider partners. A little bit about this team. Fortinet Cloud Solution Architecture team is a team of seasoned cloud architects. We have a global coverage. We mostly focus on three major areas. One is on the collaboration front. We work very closely with our cloud service provider partners, such as AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and some of the private cloud platforms, such as VMware, NSX, and Cisco ACI. So we work closely with them to develop reference architecture. Anytime that there are some new services available that is relevant to our technology and our customers and overall our product and solution, we work very closely with them to make sure we have a validated design offered to our customers. We also work closely with our technology alliance partners. As you might know, we have a very rich ecosystem of fabric-ready partners. Those are the partners that we work with in order to deliver a joint solution. Whenever a customer really needs a solution and we feel that by joining forces together with our partners, we can add value and deliver a very solid solution. And mostly it comes to play when we are addressing some of the emerging topics. And we'll discuss some of those later during this presentation. The second aspect of what we do really is creating and building, as I mentioned, those reference architectures, which in conjunction with cloud service providers, we work closely, but also sometimes it really comes directly with our customers. We validate those most often with our partners, and we make those available for general public, including customers and partners. And on the consultation front, we want to help our customers from an advisory and consultancy standpoint as well, which means we help outline a roadmap to a comprehensive security architecture and design, which includes identifying their existing gaps and how they can remediate those gaps. Now, this is the slide that you already have seen. Leo did a great job explaining different use cases. I want to use that again because I think it really sets the context of my next slides, which really is about different reference architecture. So we develop these reference architectures not really in vacuum. We've developed them based on customers' feedback, based on customers' requirements. Now, primarily, we're going to be focusing on these three major buckets. I mean, as much as time allows, we'll cover use cases such as hybrid cloud, teleworker, especially given the situation of the whole COVID-19, that's absolutely important, and some other use cases such as application security, such as container security, and so forth. So the first slide really is more about providing a 30,000-foot overview of our overall product and solutions in the cloud. As Leo mentioned, as I mentioned also earlier at this presentation, we work with our cloud partners. We develop multi-cloud security reference architecture. So even though we have tight integration with each and every cloud, based on what we have seen in the field, many of our customers, they tend to really deploy their workloads and applications across more than one cloud. So solutions we design, we always take that into consideration that it should not only be applicable to one cloud. As much as possible, we want to make that multi/hybrid cloud. Now, you see some examples such as AWS and Azure, but definitely we're not limited there. We have the widest coverage when it comes to these cloud platforms in the market, when it comes to network security and application security solutions. Our Fortinet Fabric Connector is also a very unique construct that we have at Fortinet. We have developed that in order to help customers define, create, and enforce security policies based on not just an ephemeral construct such as IP address, which we all know in the cloud, and more than that, in Kubernetes deployments is not going to be a persistent construct. So we rely on metadata, labels, and tags. The nature of deployments today are that you can expect a new replica of pods in a matter of seconds or minutes. So that's why creating policies based on IP address is not really what we want to do. Instead, we allow customers to create those policies based on labels and tags. We'll have a demo actually on this whole piece later on during this session. My colleague Praveen Lokesh, who is a principal architect in the team, will walk you through those concepts. Now, we talked about multi-cloud. Hybrid cloud is absolutely one of the use cases we see with our customer. We'll talk about it extensively today during the rest of the reference architecture design. But one thing of note I would like to highlight is our FortiGate next generation firewall solution is not just next generation firewall, it's not just connectivity solution, it also offers a very advanced SD-WAN solution. That way we help customers when, for example, they require connectivity across their clouds to do intelligent path selection based on metrics that we define, so they can take really the best path in order to communicate between different clouds. Also, teleworker is another use case that we see with our customers. As mentioned, the massive scale of FortiGate absolutely enables our customers to leverage our solution in the cloud and on-prem. We offer one of the best, I would say, at least as far as I know and I have seen, the best performance that we provide compared to the rest of the field. And we'll talk about how that happens. It's mostly because of the way we leverage the certain technologies available in public clouds, in addition to the way that our architecture and design in FortiGate and other appliances and other solutions really work. Now, we have different form factors for a lot of our solutions. Brian is going to talk about FortiWeb specifically, but I thought it's worth highlighting. We have a very cloud-native solution in AWS, Azure, and GCP when it comes to providing customers with a cloud WAF as a service. One of the pain points is always operational simplicity. Customers definitely are looking for operational simplicity. They care about a single pane of management. We all know that providing and applying a consistent security policy across different clouds is a very, very important factor. Otherwise, it would be very difficult, extremely difficult to have that consistent security posture across your different clouds. And FortiManager, in conjunction with FortiAnalyzer, helps provide that single pane of glass of management. Now, with FortiCWP and FortiCASB, we try to help customers mitigate misconfigurations in the cloud. And as you remember during Leo's presentation, what he mentioned about breaches that we see today, a lot of breaches, in fact, are as a result of customers' misconfigurations. So we acknowledge that, and we have developed solutions that exactly tries to address that problem. Now, I want to talk a little about our HA technology. This is important because, as we all know, public cloud platforms work a bit different. We do not have access to multicast packets, for example. We don't have, the notion of layer 2. Public cloud starts at IP layer, network layer. So in order to have the same ability, the same capability of high availability with session and configuration synchronization, we have developed and designed a new feature called Unicast HA, which allows pretty much the same feature functionality that you would see on-prem in the cloud. And you can see in this diagram, I'm showing Microsoft Azure deployment, but this really applies to all of our public cloud, most of our public cloud platforms that we work with, such as AWS or Google Cloud Platform and so forth. So the same feature is available on all of these cloud platforms. We also provide automated failover. So if, in an active passive cluster, a failover happens, we don't really need customer users go and manually update, for example, the route table. The whole process is absolutely automated end to end. We do that via APIs. That's one of the advantage of using our HA solution in the cloud, that it doesn't require any human intervention. And I want to highlight the fact that we have a very scalable, I keep saying massive scale, because if you look at the numbers we provide in both clear text and IPsec, it's just way more than any of our competition that can provide. So FortiGate, we have an SPU technology. In the cloud is a bit different. We don't have access to the infrastructure, but we are leveraging some of those constructs, such as some of those technologies, such as SRIB, for example. And with that, now we're able to offer a performance boost to our customer, and we provide really, really, really high numbers when it comes to our network throughput. And that enables a lot of use cases, as Leo mentioned, such as teleworker. The scale is absolutely key in any of those use cases if you want to offer a practical solution to our customers. Now, one of the designs or one of the use cases that we often talk about is really how we can provide a central security or so-called cloud security services hub, while that cloud security services hub still becomes the point of connectivity between different clouds and between on-prem environments and your cloud deployment environments. So this one is mostly focusing on a Google Cloud Platform. We basically have designed this central hub that you can see where we really want to put all of our security services. So in this case, we see a cluster of FortiGate VM that provides next generation firewall, but also connectivity to on-prem environments. This cloud security services hub, as I mentioned, enable next generation firewall use case that allows customers to inspect all of their north, south, and east-west traffic, relying on a cluster of FortiGate, but it also provides connectivity to on-prem environments. Now, many customers leverage cloud interconnect, or they could also leverage VPN over internet. The cloud interconnect obviously gives them higher SLA. So on the Google Cloud side, cloud router would be used to establish BGP sessions. And on top of that, we leverage VPN, our VPN tunnel, our FortiGate VM cluster to terminate VPN tunnels. As mentioned, we offer a very, very high-performing FortiGate VM, and then we basically propagate the routes via BGP to on-prem. Now, we also leverage import-export route functionality of Google Cloud to propagate the routes not just to the central hub location, not just to the security services hub location, but also to our spoke VPCs. And opposite also happens from spoke VPCs to the on-prem environment. Now, again, I talked about how our solution really has been designed to accommodate different public cloud platforms. The same concept and design principles of Cloud Security Services Hub is also available on other clouds, including AWS. What you see here is instead of an HA cluster, we have a FortiGate autoscaling group, which can connect to different application VPCs using AWS Transit Gateway. So for those of you who have not heard of AWS Transit Gateway, this service was launched by AWS back in November of 2018. It allows us to now interconnect VPCs in a much more smooth fashion. We don't really need to create VPN tunnels. As you can see, you only need to create Transit Gateway attachment between your spoke VPCs and Transit Gateway. And then in order to get the best performance, we recommend creating VPN tunnels between your Transit Gateway and the FortiGate autoscaling group. And again, what I want to emphasize here is because the wide range of instance type and instance sizes that we offer, customers always have choice of either doing a scale up or using an autoscaling group like we show here in order to do scaling and scale out. Either way, we offer best performance. We really work with many, many customers. We have deployed this solution for many of our customers. And the another advantage of this solution is automation, that we leverage cloud native automation tools such as cloud formation templates, such as Lambda function. Also, we support a Terraform-based template that would be used for customers who are interested in designing and deploying using a more cloud agnostic tool such as Terraform. Now, we talked about connectivity. We talked about how that's a major use case for hybrid cloud customers. But one of the other use cases I think worth mentioning is when we have worked with some of our cloud partners, including Microsoft Azure, we see a use case where customers can leverage cloud service providers' global transit network in order to enable branch-to-branch connectivity use case. We have developed a fully automated solution to enable that use case. We are in fact one of the certified partners of Microsoft Azure Virtual WAN. We also very recently, we became the first vendor to integrate with latest routing enhancements announced by Microsoft Azure just 2 weeks ago. With that, we not just offer connectivity end-to-end, but also we offer north, south, and east-west traffic inspection using FortiGate deployed in service VNets. So a major use case would be for customers that have traffic going from their VNets, spoke VNets, to the branch offices, now using custom route tables that can be now inspected using our FortiGate deployed in service VNets. Also, another use case is when customers need inspection for internet-bound traffic. They can have another service VNets. They can have FortiGate deployed there and also apply security DPI using FortiGate to those traffic. Now, I mentioned about custom route tables. That's key here. That's exactly how we are able to really funnel the traffic to service VNet. I mean, if you look at the route table RT V2B, the way it works is any connection from spoke 1 to hub is going to be associated to a custom route table called RT-V2B. So that means that traffic will be funneled to service VNet according to this route table. So it's going to get inspected, will be funneled back to the hub, and ultimately will reach the final destination. So again, really the whole association and custom route table is the key concept here that we have been able to leverage and jointly design and validate with our Azure partner.
So Ali, that's twice now we've kind of gone into deep packet inspection, and you made a claim earlier, and that claim was that we beat all of our competitors at deep packet inspection performance. I would love to see those numbers. I bet all of us would love to see those numbers.
Sure.
But can you tell me just 10 seconds about that?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I think when I was speaking to it, if you remembered, I was on an AWS slide. So specifically the number that I shared was applicable to AWS. Each cloud platforms has their own capabilities, their different technologies. So I was speaking in the context of AWS that we have those numbers, but in general, I still want to repeat that because the way we leverage, these technologies, and also the way that we have architected our own, FortiGate appliance, and the fact that we are leveraging SPU, we have been able to translate that into virtual SPU technology in different private cloud platforms and public cloud platforms. One of the other use cases that I wanted to cover as part of our reference architecture design is really around web application security. So Leo talked about the use case. Leo talked about how important that is in today's customer landscape. Really what we offer in this specific design is allowing customers to leverage really both FortiGate and FortiWeb in their overall cloud deployments or AWS application deployments. Leveraging the same AWS load balancer, now we can have different target groups. One target group of FortiGate VMs and one target group of FortiWeb VMs. With FortiWeb, by the way, is our web application firewall. It's a purpose-built web application firewall that can help customer protect against OWASP top 10 type of attacks, and it has also full machine learning capabilities. So really, customers get a lot of benefits by having FortiWeb VM inspect their HTTP, HTTPS traffic. As you can see, in this diagram, any traffic of type HTTP or HTTPS will basically be funneled through FortiWeb VM target group of this load balancer, and then traffic originated from the application VPCs basically will on the egress outbound path will head the FortiGate and will be inspected by FortiGate VM. So essentially, you will have combination of FortiWeb, FortiGate VMs in order to get best of both FortiGate and FortiWeb. As I mentioned, that's the purpose-built web application firewall with those machine learning and web application protection, unique web application protection capabilities. Now, early on, we talked a little bit about Teleworker. Again, scale is super important. The way that our FortiGate VM works and the way that it offers a very scalable solution. We also offer both autoscaling. We also offer scale-up solutions the same way that we offer in other cloud platforms, also on Google. Again, the Teleworker is not limited to any one platform only. As mentioned, just for the interest of time, I'm probably walking you through only on one or two platforms per each use case. Now, what unique is about Google Cloud is its HTTPS load balancer that we are leveraging our design. It helps distribute the load across different geographies. So you don't really require a dedicated DNS-based router here, because HTTPS load balancer would really help distribute SSL VPN traffic across a cluster of FortiGates anywhere that they are. So basically twofold. One is the FortiGate VM itself offers a lot of scale, as explained earlier, but also we leverage this HTTPS load balancer to further scale by distributing the load across different clusters in different geographies. That's also based on cloud security best practices for geo redundancy. That's something that is always recommended. And if we have sometimes users that really need to connect to the on-prem and from on-prem to the cloud, that's also possible. Our IPsec performance is absolutely one of the best also when it comes to site. So we can leverage IPsec tunnels and have users connect to on-prem and then connect to the applications deployed in Google Cloud Platform. Now, one of the other use cases, and I think it's probably the last use case I want to cover today, is around Kubernetes security from a network security standpoint. We have done integration with Calico Enterprise. As we all know, Calico is the most dominant or one of the most dominant CNI plugin, widely adopted. Initially, Calico has been an open source project, is a de facto standard in a lot of different cloud managed and non-managed Kubernetes, such as EKS, AKS, and GKE, as well as Rancher, OpenShift, and all major Kubernetes distribution. Now, but why do we even need to talk about Kubernetes security? I mean, I think this is a good statistic coming from an independent, firm, RightScale 2019 State of the Cloud report from Flexera. According to this report, basically adoption of Kubernetes have gone up tremendously from 48% only, from 27% only in 2018 to 48%, more than 20% growth in terms of adoption in only a span of 1 year, which shows really how Kubernetes adoption has been going up. And we have seen, in fact, we have been able to validate that in our own customer base. So we have developed a solution that addresses some of customers' pain points in the Kubernetes security landscape. Now, at a high level, what we really have done is we have integrated with different products, including FortiGate Manager, as well as FortiSIEM. Let's quickly talk about one of the problem statements before I talk about the actual integration with FortiGate. So, we all know pods deployed in different Kubernetes clusters. Yes, very likely they can have requirements of interacting with each other. We have different microservices in your deployment that they need to interact. However, oftentimes we have seen those pods need to access some of external endpoints. For example, a payment processing endpoint, or maybe an RDS database of AWS, or maybe an enterprise application such as Salesforce.com. So it is important to allow only the pods that need that type of access. So in summary, we don't want to end up creating over-permissive rules. So that's really the problem statement. Now, what we have done in order to address that problem is we have done integration between FortiGate and the Calico controller in order to be able to instantaneously and dynamically update those IP addresses, which we all know tend to come up and down in a matter of seconds. So it's important to have the ability to dynamically and instantaneously update in address groups in FortiGate. And this is something that you will see later on during the presentation, how address groups and dynamic address objects in general are being used. But essentially, what really we do here is the same way that we allow customers define security policies for any non-Kubernetes or on-prem or other environments and leverage those objects and address groups to create security policies. The same way, essentially, they can apply Kubernetes-related type of policies. So again, it's a simple three-step process. We have application pod that come up in your Kubernetes deployments. We update address groups, and basically we apply allow, deny policies based on those address groups. This is a screenshot, that hopefully shows you in a more visual manner. We basically have objects, address group objects that are managed by Calico Enterprise, and they get instantaneously updated whenever, for example, you have a new replica of your application. So that all of those changes get reflected immediately. Now, the other, or probably the last use case I want to cover here is around on Kubernetes security, is really about ability and giving customers the ability to monitor the telemetry information, to be able to stream the logs that they have in their Kubernetes clusters to their FortiSIEM appliance or to the SIEM solution that they have. This solution allows customers to investigate any incidents, look at the logs at any point of time, go back and investigate exactly what happened. What caused certain breaches, for example, in my environment, or what did I receive an alert? So all of those telemetry information would be available in the FortiSIEM solution via this integration. So again, in short, it helps customers with visibility, auditability, and streaming DNS logs and flow logs of their Kubernetes clusters. So that was really the last slide that I had. Besides the next step slide, I want to encourage you is to stay on and see some of our demos. And the first demo that you will see is going to focus on network security / multi-cloud SD-WAN. And Praveen Lokesh, who is a principal cloud architect on our team, we will walk you through some of those, and also the concept of Fabric Connector. And I encourage you to always visit our website, fortinet.com/cloud. We have different solution briefs. We have reference architectures available, and a ton of information that would be hopefully useful if you're looking for more information. And in terms of our Kubernetes security solution that we just talked about, if you're interested to learn more, feel free to visit this web page. You will see a ton of technical content that would help you deploy this solution, and also some free trial that is available for you.
Yeah, your K8s protection within the cloud, AWS offers a few different variants of it. I mean, there's ECS, there's EKS. Do you integrate with both or just EKS?
That's a great question. So with ECS, in fact, we have, that's something that we didn't get time to talk about, but we have also a containerized form factor of FortiWeb. We have FortiWeb container. So that product today is available on Marketplace with ECS. So yes, you can deploy that for application security as a Docker container. Specifically with EKS, the solution that I just talked about, the Calico integration solution, that's available for EKS. So that's a Kubernetes focused solution. So the two things with FortiGate and Calico, it's available and it supports EKS on AWS and also AKS on Azure and GKE, as well as other major Kubernetes distribution. Specifically on ECS, we have FortiWeb, we have containerized FortiWeb, which is available on AWS Marketplace.